You got a speck right here. Okay, you ready? Does it sound all right? Okay, is it clean? All right, let's go. Hi, excuse me, could I ask you a couple of questions?
I don't like interviews, sorry.
No? Maybe not liking interviews runs in our genes. No, I don't mean those kind of genes. I mean the genes that are passed on from parent to offspring, you know. Have you ever thought about why we become what we are and why we look the way we do? We're gonna take that question to the streets and figure out what people know about heredity. Ready? Come on. Hi guys, excuse me. Hi guys. Do you know what heredity is?
What's that?
What is heredity?
What is heredity?
Yes. Like say you have brown eyes. Where do you think that comes from?
My relatives?
It's due to DNA, some changes in DNA and genes from mother and parents.
Our DNA is passed on.
The genes, that plays a major role, evidently, in the way we look, the way we act.
Any example?
My temper.
Heredity, our genetic heritage from our parents, is the code that defines much of the way we look and sometimes even the way we act. But could such things as temper or an interest or, for example, a fear be explained genetically as well?
Do you think fears can be passed on from parent to offspring?
Not necessarily.
Would you think that your interest in baseball was in your genes?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My dad, man, is a big fan of baseball. He plays baseball.
Because I like certain sports, my sons do too. So we kind of like the same thing there.
Scientists are finding out more and more things that can have a genetic reason, such as some diseases and maybe certain skills. But many things are also adapted through the way we're brought up and live, likely, for example, an interest in, say, watching TV. But the way we look, like eye color and hair color, are more easily explained. These traits are passed from parents to offspring through the genes in our DNA. But the expression of the genetic products is not equal. We get half of our genes from our mother and half from our father, and certain traits are going to be more often expressed than others due to dominant and recessive genes. But there are times when an offspring can look different from both its parents. How do we explain that?
Do you know what kind of animal that is?
A koala?
A koala, that's great. Okay, so this is a mother and its baby. Why do you think they look so different?
Well, maybe it's because, like, for other animals, it's kind of like a larvae. Like, for bugs, the larvae looks different, so I guess so.
It's very possible that he starts out white and changes color as he gets older. I mean, baby chickens start out yellow.
But the color is pretty strange. They are different.
I think that's the feature from the father.
It's an albino koala, isn't it?
That is correct. The baby koala is albino. But what does that really mean? Well, it's actually not just a random occurrence. It still has to do with our genetic heritage.
Well, albinism is a genetic trait that rarely occurs, but it does have to do with genes. It happens when young animals inherit recessive traits causing a lack of melanin pigments in eyes, skin, hair, and scales. But if one parent is albino, it doesn't necessarily mean that the offspring will always be albino. It has everything to do with how young inherit different traits from both parents.
So even if an individual is not albino, that individual may still carry the recessive gene for albinism. If each parent passes on the recessive traits for albinism to their offspring, the offspring will have two recessive alleles and will be albino. So to be albino, an individual must first get the recessive alleles for albinism from both its parents. So if two albino individuals mate, the offspring will always be albino. Alright, so we've learned that denim genes are different from chromosomal genes, and the way we look, like eye color, is inherited from our parents. Scientists are still studying whether interests, like watching TV or liking baseball, are controlled by your genes, by your environment, or by a combination of genes and the environment. We've also learned that some traits are recessive, like albinism, and only show up in rare occasions. But there are still a lot of stuff in genetics that are not fully understood yet, which is just another reason to never stop exploring your world.
Here's something for you to think about.
Take a look at baby animals and compare them to their parents. See if you can identify some different traits they inherited from their parents.